Hello friends, I'm Nukebrush, and today I'm building heavy armored personal carrier, Tormentor.
Time to go nuclear.
I received this model already printed. Assembling the model is absolutely not difficult. The tank consists of several parts and they fit together perfectly. Before assembly, I cleaned up the marks from the 3D supports and installed few magnets for ease of painting. I sealed the discovered imperfections with Tamiya white putty and sanded them. After gluing the model, we begin priming. I use proven grey nitro primer Mr. Surfacer 1000, which perfectly smooths out the microsteps formed during model printing. After primer dried, I found few minor print defects on the side surfaces and rear ramp. I sealed them with liquid putty Mr. Surfacer 500 and sanded them. After that, I again applied main primer directly to these places. The tank tracks on this model are integrated with the hull, so I find it easier to paint them first and then deal with the base color. The tracks and lower body are painted rusty brown using brown oxide primer. To give tracks worn out effect, I apply paints that imitate rust, layer by layer from darkest to lightest. When drying, the paint diluted with water leaves spots, which is what I'm trying to achieve. When the rust is ready, I apply metallic paints over it. I use dry brush method and two paints, dark and light. I apply the dark one liberally over the entire surface of the tracks and the light one only on the most protruding parts. Then tracks could be masked before applying main colors. First of all, I apply white paint to visually highlight the elements of the frontal armor and side doors. It is also necessary to apply it to the upper part of the body, thereby creating a highlighting effect. I cover tracks and tank parts that should remain white with masking tape. Now we can apply base color. For this tank I chose the recognizable ultramarine colors of the XIII Legion. I apply the paint in a thin layer in two passes. Particularly illuminated areas are highlighted with the same paint, mixed with white to achieve the effect of zenithal lighting. The ultramarine color tank has metal and gold-plated details. I paint metal parts, exhaust pipes and bolter elements using steel paint. Gold-plated parts are coated with paint brass and gold, and the final shine is achieved using paint varnish crystal orange. While the paint dries, we make stencils for applying large markings. I glue regular tape over plain paper with a pattern, which is then covered with masking tape. In general, the tank has several large markings: white on the top, gold on side doors, and blue on the front armor. I chose a grey color for the base. Top marking is concluded by setting white, side doors gold made with, well, gold paint, and front marking painted with ultramarine blue. The optics and lenses on the Tormentor are the common cupola triplexes, bolter optics, and headlights. Oh, don't forget about rear lights. I use blue cyan as the base color for the triplexes and headlights, and orange and red paint was used for the tail lights. Final color and shine of the lenses is achieved using various paint varnishes. There are not many decals on this tank, nevertheless I cover full model with glossy varnish for better adhesion. I also used Mark Saturn Neo to install the decals and then Mark Soften Neo for better welding. After the chemical has dried, I applied second layer of varnish, this time matte one. Now let's start highlighting the jointing. I use Model Chemistry Dark Wash, which is an enamel product, so I used synthetic brush. Note that with the brush you can control the application of wash, both in the recesses and around the protruding elements of the model. Applying the wash is a time-consuming process, but the result is a model with clearly defined shadows and details. After the wash has dried, I applied a layer of matte varnish. Now we can start creating wear and tear effect. First of all, we apply chips. Using a brush with light blue paint, I create the effect of chipped armor. I create it in those places where such chips can occur as a result of the natural damage received from usage and rough terrain. For the light colored chips we apply darker paint, which imitates the effect of rust formed as a result of deep chipping of the paint to the metal. Of course, it is not necessary to apply dark paint over all light chips, only to the largest ones or in those places that need to be emphasized. When the work with chips is finished, I cover whole model with matte varnish to protect it. The last stage is weathering. First I painted small streaks of rust, fuel and engine oil here and there on whole model. Then I used pigments. I chose light sand tones for this tank, like cyanide dust and Negev sand. I begin with dry brushing the pigment onto the lower part of the tank, mainly tracks and armor elements. To fix the dry pigment on the model, I used liquid mud, North Africa dust, diluted with enamel thinner. Work complete. I applied a layer of matte varnish and here we are. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your models and see you soon.